I have three things I've kind of lifted from the book, and what I want to do is read that and have you respond to it and maybe elaborate on it a little bit.
Yeah, I love it.
So first, you don't build a business, you build people, and then people build the business. That's a quote from Zig Ziglar.
Yeah. It's the opening of the Culture Eat Strategy for Breakfast chapter. And I chose that.
Yeah,
First of all, Zig Ziglar is just an absolute brilliant genius.
yeah,
And
he
I
is.
admire him a lot. I read a lot of his stuff. But what he speaks to is one of the fundamentals of business, that we have lost the forest for the trees.
Mm,
We are no longer in the people business, and there is no other business than the people business. And so I think this is a huge wake up call. The history, just even before COVID, but now after COVID, is a reminder for everybody that it is people who make business, and the economy exists for people, not people for the
not,
economy. And people flourish in good, positive corporate cultures, and we do well, literally, by making sure that we have good cultures in our companies.
all right, next is culture is what you do when no one's looking.
We're trained to behave in certain ways, almost like in school when you go to a test and you've crammed and you're going to be able to sort of regurgitate exactly what the teacher wanted you to say. That's knowledge. That's sort of the tactical stuff. Culture is what you really think. Namely, now there's no more pressure for the test, there's nobody watching, and then you do what you really want to do. It's, in a sense, the true self. And we're actually very well trained to hide that because we often get chastised for it. But imagine if you build a company where people actually get together based on these on their values of, say, I don't
Mm,
like short-term pressure, I like long-term results, or I like to do business this way or that way, and you actually put people together and you let them flourish based on their closely held beliefs.
right,
You're
right.
changing the equation to a point that these become teams that are, you know, really hard to compete against.
And probably very close
Yeah.
personally, right? I mean, probably
Yes.
like really trusted
I
people,
want to
you know?
stress again that I'm not talking about values that are sort of social values of saying we are all the same ethnicity, or we are all, have we all like this kind of animal, even though this company has nothing, it doesn't work with animals. So you know what I mean? Like, we all like this football club, and but yet we are an investment firm that does something completely different. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking
Yeah.
about values that pertain to, why am I doing this work and why serve that customer?
Hmm.
That's what I'm talking about. That company values, corporate values, should really have something to do with the actual thing we're doing at work.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're not inspiring your employees to become excellent at what they're doing.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if you're like buying carbon offsets if, if that has nothing to do with like you're not changing the world as a company. It's just you're
Yeah,
just like, you know, it's what you call virtue signaling in the book.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. The last one, and this actually just kind of really you just described it, but culture is what we do beyond the basic rules, beyond what's legally required. It reveals our business character.
It's exactly like, it's, of course, the analogy to human character.
Hmm.
And human character are all the things you do that are so well trained that you don't even think about it. That's in a way the character of a great sports person, like a, you know an athlete. They don't even have to think of what to do in the moment because they are so well trained to react in a certain way that it
Right.
becomes part of their nature. Well, that's character. Like, that's where you have a virtuous character. You do things just automatically, and that's what I'm looking for. That's the secret sauce in successful companies, that they just do certain things naturally. And you can see this in many companies where, somebody like Apple just has a proclivity for beauty. They pursue
Hmm.
beauty. There's also smaller companies that do some of these things brilliantly, but I'm trying to tell you examples that everybody would sort of see and
Yeah.
understand.
Recognize.
A Ritz-Carlton service culture is
Hmm.
something that if you're not there and uh, you're not into service culture, you're not going to like working there, right?
Yeah.
If you work at
Yeah.
Apple and you don't like physical beauty and environment, and a beautiful environment, then this isn't going to do anything for you.
So it seems also like company culture is almost symbolic of company character. as
Yeah.
well.
And
Yeah.
the beauty of company character is that there can be so many different characters in the same space, because of course we have different clients who like different things. And so
Mhm.
we can, there's space for everybody in a sense. And my desire or my advice would be to companies to not be vanilla, like be the extra flavor, like stand for something that actually has to do with what you're doing every day.